What's going on, family? So I absolutely love parking at way stations, especially when they're closed. It's nice and low key. However, when you wake up in the morning, all eyes are on you. Let you not do a good pre-trip. We about to go out here and do one. Let's get it. It's your boy Travis Kinley coming to you with the 579 Ultraloft review, the 50,000 mile review. I believe I'm somewhere at around 52,000 miles now, so I just wanted to check back in with you. I get a lot of questions like, what kind of problems have you had with the Pete? Have you been in the shop? What's going on? Tell us about it. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a review. Probably do another one at 100,000 miles. So this truck has been great. It's been very great to me. There is a few things that I left out during the first review that I did that I'll cover real fast. But first, just to answer kind of those common questions that I have. Have I been in the shop a lot? I have only been to the shop twice. The first time was maybe, I want to guess, a couple thousand miles after I started. I got the truck 499 miles. It was a couple thousand miles after that. I had an air leak coming from, I don't remember exactly where they said it was coming from, but they just had to tighten some things. If you look at your preventative maintenance schedule in your manual for the Peterbilt, it actually tells you somewhere between 1 and 5,000 miles you need to go and tighten it. Well, actually 1 and like 10,000 miles, it tells you in increments you need to go and tighten certain bolts, check this, check that. So that's what I had done the first time. And the second time I went to the shop, something hit my windshield. I don't even know what it was, but I cracked my windshield, had to have my windshield replaced. So as you see, I've never been in the shop for anything as far as a real breakdown. Something mechanical actually broke or an electrical issue. If you haven't heard, Peterbilts are known for having certain electrical issues. I haven't been in the shop for anything of that sort. Truck's been good to me. Like I said, we're at a little over 52,000 miles right now. It's been running great. I haven't experienced any of the kind of horror stories that other people have experienced. But I do want to cover one thing too. Well, I guess one thing really. It is the smart air system in this truck. If you haven't heard of the smart air system, essentially what a lot of people will just kind of shorthand it as the difference between having an APU, auxiliary power unit, and an EPU, which means it is electronic, right? So the smart air system is, you're kind of talking the same thing. You're kind of, you're talking hand in hand. Well, I want to give you a quick review of the smart air system. I've been running with it since September now. Today is Christmas Day. So I've been running with it since September. So let's get a little review of the smart air system. Let's get it. All right, so this is what you may call maybe your thermostat controller or something. You're thinking like HVAC at the house. This is your smart air controller right here, okay? It is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. One thing, you turn it on, okay? That's pretty straightforward, right? You got heat, you got your temperature, and then you have your battery reading. We will get to that in just a little while. As far as how you control it, you hit this button right here to cycle through a handful of options, right? So I hit it once and then I can cycle through heat, auto, and cool, right? I hit it again and then I can cycle through how fast the fan is going to blow. Just 3 levels, that's all you got. It's not that complex, right? I hit it one more time and it'll show me how many hours you have. And then I hit it one more time and you can display it either in Fahrenheit or Celsius, and you hit it again and it goes back to that main screen. Of course, if you want to adjust the actual temperature, just these up and down arrows, pretty straightforward, just like I said, and then you touch that to turn it back off. Okay, so one thing about this smart air system is that if you have it on heat and you got it on like really low, especially when you first turn it on, it is not going to blow until you crank that thing up to, if you crank it up to 81, it'll start blowing a little bit. But if you crank it up to 85, it's going to crank up for you. Now, once it cranks up for you, then you can start dropping it back down to various, whatever you're trying to set it on. Now, if you put it on heat, it's just going to blow. If you put it on auto, you can kind of hear it trying to, you know, regulate the temperature. It's trying to follow whatever directive that you gave to it, right? So that's pretty interesting. If you get one of these Petes, you should understand that there is a sensor somewhere in this truck. I'm not sure where it is right now, but there's a sensor somewhere in this truck that is, of course, responsible for sensing the temperature of the ambient air inside of the sleeper berth specifically, not the cab. If you got the doggone curtains open, don't do that. It says it in the book. But there is there's a sensor that's responsible for sensing the temperature of the ambient air inside of the cab. It is also able to be adjusted, if you will. If you take it to a dealer, they can adjust it. So for example, let's say you set it on, let's just call it 81. Okay, there's no even numbers for some reason once you crank it above 80. You got 81, 83, and 85. Don't try 82, it's not gonna work for you. Nevertheless, let's say you put it on 85, okay? Let's also say it is 15 degrees outside, all right? Milwaukee, let's say 15 degrees outside, you put it on 85. Let's say it turns on, you put it on auto. Let's say it turns on, but maybe after 15 minutes, 25 minutes, 45 minutes, who cares? It just turns back off as if it believes that it's 85 inside of the sleeper. You probably need to go to a dealer and have them check whatever sensor that is. If you bring it up, I'm sure they're going to follow what you're saying, or at least they can figure it out themselves. So that is very noteworthy to mention. I talked to a couple people who were saying, hey, look, I'll turn the heat on, I go to sleep, and then it just shuts off by itself. That is something that you may want to get adjusted. We'll talk about another solution to that same problem in just a minute. Let's move on to the auto start. Back up here in the cab, this auto start is another really cool feature that I really appreciate about this truck. I'll tell you what it does, then I'll show you how we do it in these trucks. So auto start is designed to ensure that when running your EPU, you never, or just in general, your truck never just dies while you're sleeping. I don't know, maybe you're on your laptop, maybe you're talking on the phone, whatever the case may be. You're taking a 10-hour break, maybe you're doing a whole 34-hour reset. It is designed to sense whenever your auxiliary and or main batteries get down to 20%. When your auxiliaries first when your auxiliaries get down, it starts draining off of your main batteries. When those get down to 20%, the truck is designed to just start itself automatically, like a few other systems that I know about. I think it's called Opti Idle or something of that nature. It's designed to just start the truck automatically, charge the batteries until they reach 80% again, and then it will turn the truck back off. Here is how you turn that on. All right, so if you come down here near the brakes, you've got a button that says you got it auto on it, and it looks like engine with a arrow pointing to your key, like, hey, auto start your key, whatever, right? If you press and hold that button for 3 seconds, here's what will happen on the dash. Like I said, you push and hold that button for 3 seconds and it begins checking various things. It makes sure your brakes are pulled, make sure you're neutral, checks interlocks, it checks a lot of different, all the doors have to be closed. It goes through a various number of checks to make sure that auto start can be enabled safely. And once it has been enabled, it will tell you that it is enabled. Now, a couple things I want to say about this. As I mentioned earlier, it is designed to start the truck when your batteries reach 20% and then charge to 80%. This also is something that can be adjusted at the dealership. So I heard one person say, hey, look, I have my auto start enabled. Everything's good to go. It said that the system was checked and passed with flying colors. However, my truck died. That is something I'd go to the dealer and I would ask them, hey, will you make sure or try to adjust the threshold in which my auto start recognizes that I need to start the truck. See what I'm saying? Okay, so this smart air system for me, now a little bit of a critique about it, because I'm not just going to paint it like it's a rosy picture. With APUs, it's my understanding that you all, I don't remember from my trainer's truck, I didn't use it very much, I didn't control it very much, and it wasn't cold when I was in TNT. Nevertheless, with APUs, it's my understanding that you have a bunk heater and then you also have a fan in which you can turn on both and adjust both differently, right? With this truck, since you're setting temperature, it automatically decides fan speed as far as heat. I showed you the fan speed, but that fan speed only works for the AC. It doesn't work for the heat. What does that mean? It means if you're in a dry climate and then you need to turn your heat on back here, in the middle of the night, you may start feeling it in your sinuses. I start feeling it in my sinuses. Maybe I have a sensitive sinuses or something all in my face. Nevertheless, and there's no way to make the air humid when you're running the heat. Now, imagine it's the same with an APU. I've heard from a friend it's pretty similar. I don't know if adjusting that fan speed changes things. Not really sure how that works. Furthermore, in this truck, now I haven't taken it to a dealer about this, but in this truck, when I set it on about between 76 and 78, I don't think I've tried 79 yet. Like if I set it on 77 or 78 though, and I try to run it all night, I think I believe that wherever the sensor is in my truck thinks that it is 78 degrees and it will just shut it down. Okay, it doesn't just stop and then crank back up when the temperature drops again. It just shuts down altogether. I'm not sure now. Like I said, in order to cut it on, it must be on 81 degrees or above. Maybe it's the case that in order to keep it on, it also must be on 81 degrees or above. I need to talk to someone at a dealer or smart air specialist. I got this guy who helped engineer this this system, so maybe I'll ask him. Nevertheless, so that's one thing I'm like, golly, man. I can't really adjust. I can't put it on maybe 75 or something like that because it won't last all night. Usually about 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. and I go to bed maybe around 8 or 9 p.m. About 2 a.m. to 3 p.m. 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. I'm usually waking up like, great day, it's freezing in here, man. Okay, so that's one thing. So as a result, in order to keep it on 81, hold on, I gotta check my messages to make sure. All right, in order to keep it on between 81 to 85, so my heat's running all night, so I don't have to wake up in the middle of the night, I also have to do something to make sure it doesn't get too hot in the cab. The system works great, okay? When you put the heat on, the heat is on, right? So in order to balance that out, I usually have to crack windows. I'll open the windows at the top of the sleeper berth. I'll crack the ones in the cab. I'll open the ones by my head and by my feet. I do something, and now I'm starting to get the hang of like how many windows to open, how much to open them at certain temperatures. So that way I'm circulating nice, cool, humid air while the heat is also blowing, and I just balance it out. So that's how I deal with that problem. You don't always feel like stopping by a dealership for something that's not an emergency, just to adjust a threshold. All right, so that's the smart air system. Let's quickly talk about the PACCAR performance. Okay, so let's talk about the PACCAR performance. This motor has been really awesome. Couple things I will say about it though, but kind of like a however, right? One thing I was told is that you should expect to put oil in your motor for the first X amount of miles. I will say probably for the first, I don't know, 20 to 25,000 miles, I was pouring oil in it. You know, I do my pre-trip and I'm like, man, why am I low on oil? I never smell oil burning. I never see it on the ground when I'm parked, but I have to pour more oil in here. I'm not a mechanic. I don't have any experience with diesel mechanics, so I can't really answer that one. However, at 52,000 miles, I can say it has slowed down significantly since 10, 15, and 20,000 miles ago. So that's that. Other than that, I can't really say anything as a driver and not as a diesel mechanic. Now, well, not as a diesel mechanic, but as a driver, I can tell you this. I love the performance. I love the performance. It pulls great. Many Peterbilt drivers, and we're not just saying this because we drive a Pete, many of us believe that it takes hills better than other Freightliners that we've had in the past. I really enjoy it a lot. It could be because of this. These Pete's are designed to run best at higher RPMs than other trucks. It's something I've read, and it's also something that I've experienced just from driving this and a Freightliner in training. You can also just feel it, okay? You send that thing into low RPMs and you can just feel it shuddering, trying to keep up, but then you just pick up those RPMs just a hair and then it just feels like it's right in the groove. However, you may look and say, golly, that seems a little bit higher, we burning fuel. It's just the design. It takes hills great, okay? Another thing, let me see if I can see here. Yeah, so another thing, let me open my screen. Let's see if it lightens up. All right, I can't see my camera right now, but what I'm trying to show you is the braking system, okay? We do have disc brakes yeah, let's get a little lower. We do have disc brakes all the way around this truck. Beautiful thing. The stopping power is superb. It's just wonderful. I don't deal with, oh, I'm heating up real bad at all, which leads me to my next, is the Jake brake is awesome in this truck. Okay, you should be primarily using your Jake brake anyways, engine brake, whatever it is you want to call it. The Jakes are great. I've heard some people say, hey, it feels like my Jakes aren't holding. I like the Jake and the Freightliner a lot better than the Peterbilt. Listen, I think it's just noise, y'all. I think it's just noise. And the Freightliner is loud. It jerks the cab. I mean, you really feel it. It's like, you know what I mean? This one is smooth. It's quiet. But I'm telling you, it holds. Recently traveled through Wyoming, Utah, and Idaho. Recently traveled through Wyoming, Utah, and Idaho in this truck. Have traveled through Montana in this truck. Had a pretty full load, wasn't traveling with a light load. Probably gross weight might have been low to mid 70s or something like that, you know. Could have been high 60s. I think it was low to mid 70s though. And I mean, it was great. If you've driven a Peterbilt, I'm just being frank, if you've driven a Peterbilt and you feel like the Jakes weren't holding, something's not right with the Jakes, they're not as good as the Freightliner, it might be that you're attacking the hill too fast. Okay, I'm not trying to claim I got years of driving experience and I know more than everybody, but seriously, the only times I have to use the service brake when going downhill is if I started too fast. When I set my Jakes in this truck and I go downhill, I might hit the service brake once or twice, but usually it's not a big deal at all. Okay, if you just attack the hill at the right speed. I use the word attack. I don't mean to try to say like you should be an aggressive driver, but if you just attack the hill at the right speed, I'm telling you, the Jakes are great in this truck. They're great. And lastly, you know, we're here in the Peterbilts for comfort, okay? This sleeper's amazing. I'm trying to back up a little bit so y'all can really see. This sleeper is amazing. Okay, this bed is huge. These are full-size sheets on the bed to give you an idea of the size of the bed. I also put my book bag and made the bed so you can see the pillows, how wide it is. You know, I mean, the sleeper is huge. This top bunk, it's kind of messy up there, but this top bunk, I swear, is either the same size or larger than the Freightliner that I trained in. And honestly, the top mattress actually feels better. Some days I think about sleeping up there, but I'd be upset. Somebody knock on the door, I gotta climb down the ladder just to say hey to them. But other than that, in this bottom bunk, I mean, the mattress doesn't feel as good as the top, but it's amazing. I love the space. It truly is absolutely amazing. I'm thinking about getting a TV. It came with this mount. At least coming from Prime, it came with the mount. I know you couldn't see because of the window. But the sleeper is really wonderful. I will say while we're here, I bought this Galan's 3-in-1. I strongly encourage it. 3-in-1 because it is a microwave, it is an air fryer, and it has a convection oven on it. You can bake, you can do whatever you need to. Comes with a little air fryer basket. It really is pretty awesome. I like it a lot. So yes, I mean, super comfortable truck, okay? Performance, I have no complaints at all. Really takes hills. It's a strong truck. More higher RPM, so it tends to kind of be more comfortable up there. You feel like you're pulling much better in the higher RPM range. But it's just a comfortable truck. The air ride, I mean, it's amazing. It's like night and day from the Freightliner that I trained in. I will kind of throw this in there. I got a buddy, right? He is in the Driver Hub Discord group. If you're not there, I'm going to drop the link in the description. You need to be in the Driver Hub. You just got to be there. I'm telling you, it's a great place to really just kind of connect and talk with so many different drivers, as well as the Mighty Network driver lineup has an awesome place for Prime drivers to really socially connect with other Prime drivers. It's really just amazing. So I'm telling you, there's 3 places you want to be. It's Prime Inc., it's the Mighty Network driver lineup, and it's Driver Hub. Okay, so this guy in Driver Hub, he posted a video, right? He used to be or is a diesel mechanic or something of that nature. He posted a video where he changed his struts out in his Freightliner. The ones he took out, he said they were above 100,000 miles. He might have said 125, I can't remember. He was above 100,000 miles. He was trying to tell me, look, dude, the reason a Freightliner is so rough is because the struts are just, they're not high quality struts and whatnot. When you get above 100,000 miles, they get pretty rough. He showed me a video where he was changing his out to commercial grade struts, and He closed the strut with his hand and it did not pop back open. That ain't no good, right? So this ride is just super comfortable. I'm not a Freightliner trasher, but I mean, it's true. I'll put the video on here if I can find it. But it's true. But the ride's amazing. The comfort's great. Having the space in here, I don't know if y'all can see around me. I mean, man, it just feels like you got so much more elbow room, so much more breathing room. The seats are not upgraded, but I have no complaints at all. All right. So look, it's Travis Kinley. This is my 50,000 mile. I think I'm at 52,000 mile. It's my 50,000 mile update. I'll come back to you with another one at 100,000 miles. So look, it's your boy Travis Kinley. This is my 50,000 mile update. I think I'm at 52K. I'll come back with you with a 100,000 mile update. It's truck 711506. Give me a honk on the road if you see me. I love y'all. Drive safe. See you soon.